You're doing them, both of them internal bits when you flip it over, aren't you? The internal bits for that.
Yeah. We're welding that fully.
And that's all that's left for this side?
Yeah. We'll do that in situ and set the other one.
This will be done end of the week easy. If all you've got is them channels, the inside bits, and that tank thing.
Welcome back to Spitfire Engineering, episode 74, I think it is this week. This week, the float tank gets put together and it looks very impressive, even if I do say so myself. Connor's been knocking through some buckets, he's been doing some stainless steel welding, and I've got a Q&A session coming up.
So it's Monday morning and I'm in the back of the yard. So we've got the Cayman Island trommel right behind me there. So one of the representatives for the company that's buying the machine came out yesterday and he was over the moon with it. He loved it and he's very interested in some of our other products. So stay tuned to see if he is interested enough to buy any. Just over here, we've now got the Raptor 3012 all completed. So this is the one that is in the nice John Deere green, and then our Spitfire grey as we call it. The only panel to go on is this front panel, which Ashley has sorted now. So yeah, it's looking good. We've got a standard infeed in this. So if I come underneath, we've got the infeed in there, both the motors tucked over there, the cabling which comes down to this pretty snazzy control box. So the drum is at a set speed, that is a simple on and off, or off and on as I pressed it there, and then this is the infeed conveyor that is an on and off with an inverter, so that adjusts the speed. So depending on how fast you are able to load it / how fast you want the material to process, that is what you can adjust. And then just along here you've got all of the procedure for starting and stopping, and then the daily maintenance. So yeah, pretty cool bit of kit that is. And then it comes here with this lead, this plug here, which essentially allows the customer to have any size lead they want without having this dangling off and dragging everywhere all the time if they were to use an extension like the traditional way. So this is forkliftable, so we're going to load this onto the truck with a telehandler. I believe that is the plan. So this is great for carrying around sites, around your yard. Like I say, with the electricity over there, you can just pick it up and put it wherever you want. So if you've got power all across the yard, that'll work great. If not, it will work with a generator large enough. So Adam will speak to someone in the office and put the size of the generator this machine requires. So just over here, we've got Rob and Steve. So this is the tank for the float, or this is the tank for the flotation tank. So there is the heavies conveyor, which will be going in under here, and then the float conveyor that will go over there. So Rob and Steve have got this tacked up within spec, so you can see that it's pretty big. I'm having to crouch down. I'm not that small that I can come in here without having to crouch down, but there's a fair bit of welding for them to do. So we've got all of this along here. There's then some more bits of steel to go over there, but they can't weld up this seam without it. So this can be fully welded inside and out. You can see there how they've got a nice gap the whole way along it. Gives it full penetration, and that is the same on all of them joins. Got a few bits of box section just tacked in place to stiffen it up while they are welding it and flipping it and whatnot. So yeah, I think the plan is get this welded as much as they can today. I don't see, the plan is ultimately to have this done by the end of the week, which is in my mind well achievable. As long as there's no big hiccups going forward now, that does seem pretty achievable. So yeah, all tacked up, ready to go. Coming through into Rob's bay now. Rob is not in there. We've got George, who is currently working on a bucket. So we've had George trying the different styles of cutting the bottoms out of the bucket. So on that side he used the oxyacetylene, and on that side he used the plasma cutter. So there's pros and cons to both. You obviously need electricity if you've got the plasma cutter, which is hooked up there. Electricity and air. Ours doesn't have a built-in compressor. So what we've had to do, or what George has had to do, is get the airline running through, which isn't an issue. The oxyacetylene is just sort of behind there, so that's just on a little skid that we can forklift around. But what we've worked out is George actually works better with the plasma, So the plasma we find cuts quicker, it is cheaper to run than the ultra-ethylene, and it gives it a nicer cut. So this is George's cut here, which for his first sort of proper time on a plasma cutter is not bad at all. So that is great, just needs a little bit of grinding and then that is all done. So yeah, George's next steps is just cleaning it up like he is now and then measuring up to cut the floor. So Connor is in the little workshop now, and these look a little bit different to our normal type of steel that we use. So this is stainless steel. This is because this conveyor is almost fully submerged within the water. So Connor has been TIG welding these parts up. We've got him outside of the main workshop. There's a lot of metal dust flying around, a lot of contamination. So to minimise the risk of contamination from mild steel and then impregnating this stainless steel with that and then causing it to rust, Connor is in this little workshop just tigging it along. So he's got another one of these to make up. I think he's fully welded this now, or nearly fully welded. He's got a little bit more welding to do there. Fully weld this, and then this is the head end of a conveyor side. Those are both tails. So he's got another one of these head ends to make, and then welding each head to each tail section, as well as a few cross beams. So yeah, he's getting on nicely with this. Not too much left of this now. We were talking earlier, we reckon it'll probably be done today-ish at some point. Not 100% sure when, but aiming for the end of the day for these stainless steel conveyor parts, and then probably going on to the tail roller for this, which is also stainless steel. So that's going to be a little bit interesting. However, very achievable still. Just got to give Connor the time and space that he needs to get it tigged up. So TIG is 9 times out of 10, or 99% of the time, a much slower process than MIG welding. However, it is a lot cleaner. It's much better for stainless steel. So you can stick weld stainless steel, and I'm pretty sure you can MIG weld it as well with certain sort of wires and machines. So we don't have the capability, or we do have the capabilities, but Connor isn't trained up in stick welding stainless, so this is the best way of doing it. As I say, it's a lot cleaner anyway. So these welds, nice as is, and then just under there is a weld cleaner. So you need to put some solution on the brush it on, and then it uses electrolysis to clean the weld. So that removes any of that colour. So it doesn't affect anything, it's not negatives or anything like that. It is just personal preference, and we don't want it there as a company, just doesn't need to be there. So what you can sometimes offer, what you often see is a lot of exhaust people. So the fancy titanium exhausts or the stainless steel exhausts that the people get on their cars, they often leave the colour on there and they try and get certain colours on there. So there is a time and a place for it. However, it's not necessary for what we're doing. It looks a lot smarter with it all cleaned off, because it just looks better 9 times out of 10. So yeah, that's the update from the workshop on this Tuesday morning. So Adam's back behind the camera now, very happy from my side. He had a lovely time in Amsterdam, I'm led to believe. So in the workshop right now, we've got Rob and Steve in this bay here. So this is 2 bays sort of conjoined into one at the minute. So they are currently both welding up the tank for the wash plant project, the flotation tank. Steve's on the inside. Rob is currently on top. 2 of the 3 sides are now done, and then they need to flip it. Once they've done this side, flip it up so it's stood up like it will be in use, and then weld that last side, get a few more beams in. Yeah, so you can see where there's a bit of distortion here, but once they've fully welded it and cleaned it all back, that will straighten itself out, and then we've still got some bits of angle, which Rob has already fabricated, to go along this here, and that is what it's going to sit on onto the frame. Coming out of this bay and then into what is Rob's bay, but George is in here. George is currently welding the top deflector tank for this same project. So this wash plant, sorry. This is the top bit at the top where there will be a fan, I believe, sucking out any of the dust, and then the material will be loaded into here. So yeah, George is just sorting that out now. Next bit is very interesting, or I find interesting. Due to the workflow and how everything's sort of organised itself, we've now got Ashley doing a bit of welding. So Ashley does have previous experience in welding and fabrication, bits and bobs. So he is about to be welding up some of the IBC lifting stands in this area. So this is the assembly area. However, all of the main fabrication bays are full, and then the small workshop has got the stainless steel conveyor in. So we don't want to be contaminating that in there. We'll leave that in there until all the stainless is done. And then, yeah, Ashley's going to be in here fabricating some of those IBC lifting stands. So this is the stainless steel conveyor. So Connor has fully welded all this, and this is ready to be bolted up. So we're going to leave it as for now, there until that main tank is done and we can test fit it in there, because it will take up a lot more space once it's fully bolted. So there's middle trays, which the conveyor belt is going to go across. There's the main sections for the conveyor, side 1, side 2, the cross beams just here, and then a lot more of the side skirts and deflectors just over here. So it's all ready to go now. Just waiting on the stainless steel roller to be fabricated. So the tail roller is fully submerged, so that is going to be made out of stainless steel. However, the bar that's coming for that stainless steel tail roller, the skeleton tail roller, has come in at 16mm, and the holes on the laser cut stainless that we've got, the sheet plate steel, that is 20mm, or to fit 20mm bar. So Melissa in the office is currently pricing up both. So 16mm would be fine, 20mm would be fine. It'd be easier to fabricate out of 16mm, so hopefully it comes back cheaper, that we can get new laser cut parts to fit the bar, as opposed to getting new bar to fit the laser cut parts. So yeah, little slight hiccup there, but in the scheme of things, not really a major issue. We're not in a rush to get that tail roller in. That doesn't need to be in for the test fit up, which we are hoping to do starting next week. So, like I say, it's Wednesday, late morning right now, and we're hoping to do the test fit of that main tank, as well as hopefully these two conveyors early next week, which I think is achievable. I'll show you where Connor is at in his folding. So Connor is currently in the cutting room on the brake press at the minute. So he's currently swapping the tooling out to do the folding, and he is currently folding the dewatering screen. So that is the somewhat separate part of the flotation tank aggregate processing plant. Standalone part, but it works in unison with the flotation tank. So measurements on this need to be absolutely perfect. So we normally work with a couple mil tolerance, however it's even smaller for this specific part. Everything Connor's doing now is going to be paramount to make sure it works. You're doing them, both of them internal bits when you flip it over, aren't you? The internal bits for that.
Oh, the conveyor bits, yeah. We're welding that fully.
And that's all that's left for this side?
Yeah. Well, we'll do that in situ when it's at the other way.
This will be done end of the week easy. If all you've got is them channels, the inside bits,
And the door.
and that tank thing. So that is Rob and Steve. They are welding this top angle bit, which is going to sit on the frame. That is the joiner between the frame and this main tank. That is all they've got to weld on this side. And then they're going to flip it over 180, or I think it might flip it over 90, weld on some bottom conveyor slots. So it's just where the conveyor is going to sit onto, or one of the conveyors. And then they are going to flip it over another 90 to 180 from where it is now, weld on the other bit of angle. Now they've got it all welded up solid, they know exactly that that's going where it is. And that is this done as much as it can be, pretty much. So yeah, really not a lot left on this, and it's currently 3:15 on Wednesday. They said they'd have it done in a week, and it's looking like it's very on track to be done in a week, if not less, I'd imagine, because the stuff they're doing now can't really go wrong. Other than the door they've got at the end, they've already done most of it this side, so it's just the other side, which should be fine, and welding, which is the easy bit. Nearly there. Yep. Cool. Ready to get jammed up and just bugger itself. You just get jammed up and bugger itself. So, just helped Ash put the wire back through the welding torch, so just got a little bit jammed up, don't know why. That's all sorted now. So when you are feeding wire through a welding torch, it always helps to have them extended as long as possible, or as straight as possible, I should say. That just helps the wire so it doesn't wrap up. You can do it with it all coiled up, but there's no point. It's so much easier and less wasteful when you do it straight. So just doing that. Since you last saw, Ash has tacked up all of the sides for these lifting stands. They are a nice amount taller than the other ones previously. So yeah, these are a metre, I think, from this front edge, or give or so a metre. Yeah, a metre from this front edge. So actually just tacking on some of the side posts here. These are the joiners that will go between, and then there's also the angle iron joiners that will go between up here. So yeah, Ash is just going to get the rest of these tacked up like so. And then him and myself are going to get the other sides on top. So let's say it's 3:15 now. We'll have, I'd imagine, probably all of them about tacked up fully by the end of the day.
So Thursday morning this morning, I have got Adam with me. Adam's been on holiday this week again. All he ever seems to do is have a holiday, and all I seem to do is struggle to get content filmed because Adam's just not here. How many holidays have you had now this year? I think you've had more than me. So this is the first time on Thursday morning that me and Adam have actually spent any time together. So I've got to go and look at a job at Wellingborough for the council, believe it or not. Looking at a job for them over there. So I said to Adam, I said, jump in with me, come over there, we'll do some filming and we'll talk about some content for the future, different things, and just talk about YouTube, just have a little bit of catch up.
So Thursday mid-morning now, Adam is currently on site with Gav. I'm sure you will have seen or will be seeing some clips soon. So I'll just show you around the workshop, see what's happening. So we've got George in this bay at the minute. He's currently in the process of fabricating a ladder. Well, there's two ladders, both identical, for the framework over there, which we'll show you in a minute. What he's currently doing is bending these bits of bar to act as the handles. So we've got one over here, which he is very kindly handing over now. Just put this on a trestle and show you guys. Yeah, nice long handles, very easy to bend, just need a bit of cleaning up afterwards. Just heating up the gas axe, takes a couple minutes per handle. A lot easier than cutting and welding and cleaning back. So yeah, George is on that now. We've got Connor in his bay. He's currently welding the inside of one of these digger buckets. So there's not much left on this now. This looks like one of his final runs, to be fair. So he's just finishing off that middle spine, and then he's got this front edge onto the cutting edge to weld up. So he won't be too much longer on this one, and then he'll be going on to the next bucket. Coming over to Rob and Steve now. The big tank has changed shape once again, or changed position once again. So it's now in, so far, the closest it's going to be to how the final shape is. So if you can imagine, that beam there will be level sitting across inside that frame. So two posts there, and then you've got bolt holes at the top there and at the bottom here, so they've been mag drilled out ready. And then on here we've got the mounts. These, I believe, are for the cross beams which George fabricated yesterday, and those two are for one of the conveyors. So Steve and Rob have got a few more bits to weld up and fabricate inside here. So we've got the inside of these things here, the conveyor tracks which go along there. So there's a few more just things to weld up, and then that is this tank pretty much done. At the minute, Rob is currently folding the back hatch door bit there. So yeah, I'll show you that in a minute. So this is the profile of that hatch. So Rob has got two bits like this, and they will eventually form. So this is one, and then there's another one to go on the other side. So mirror image of each other. Rob has got, so two bits like this. George has done him a template. So they have, what he did was, this is the template that's been cut out of 1.6 mil, it looks like. So she's got all these little notches in it. So these were designed, these parts were designed before the before this template. This is a hindsight thought, which George does normally do on a lot of stuff, is put these little notches in for us so we can just use a square to go and mark across all the lines. But due to the fact that this is going to be seen a lot more, we wanted it to be a nice smooth edge. So template has gone along, and then Rob has just sprayed this with some line marker paint, and then you can see all of them little yellow dimples where he's folding. So you can see he's up to that fold there where you can see the brake press line, and then he's still got the rest of these folds to carry on doing. So he has got a bit more folding left on these, and then it's time to start putting them in and getting the hatch on. So these IBC lifting stands are looking pretty good. These are nearly tacked up. They're tacked up in a position, just need the front and back beams going across, so there's 2 more left to do that for. These 2 here are fully welded, ready to go through the paint, and then Ash is currently welding the 3rd one there. So a little bit longer on these, and then these will get painted today.
Now, if you're watching this the week that it's been released, it has been National Engineering Week. Now, we record these episodes a week in advance, so for us now, through the power of magic and YouTube, actually I'm talking about next week, but by the time you see this, it's just been Engineering Week, and that relates to everything engineering related, and it's a week that is used to promote engineering, obviously the sort of stuff we do, and engineering in any form, encouraging people to get involved in engineering and celebrating how brilliant engineers are in society now. But it also reminded me of a fact that if you cast your mind back probably 6 or 8 weeks ago, Archie and Connor both took part in a competition at Northampton University. And Adam's going to put a little short clip in there just to remind us exactly what they did now. So this is what they get given. They get given this drawing, engineering skills competition at the bottom. So basically it's like a steamroller in effect, like a road roller. So they've got to make this from scratch. They're given this panel here is cut apparently, but everything else they have to cut, roll that as a ring. So this here isn't a piece of tube. They actually roll this here and cut all these other bits and pieces and put it all together. So they've got all the drawings, and this is what they have to work to. As I say, this piece here is actually a profiled piece that they give you. How are you getting on, Connor? Stressful today. Has today been stressful for you? Yes. Yeah? Have you found it stressful today, Arch? Very. Arch has found it stressful.
And I think it's a kind donation, isn't it, from
it's United Welding.
United Welding, and they've asked me to do the honours. And today's winner is Archie. Well done, Archie. I was nearly walking off with that. It's yours.
Cheers, thank you.
So Archie won that competition at local level, which means he's gone through to the national finals, which means that he's going to spend an entire week in Wales at the end of November, and then there's an award ceremony at the end of that, which I'm going to, and hopefully we'll do a little bit of filming when the time comes on that. But Archie's gone through to the national final. If he's successful there, he will go through to the world finals, which apparently is in Wuhan in China. So we've got that coming up next month, and we wish Archie all the best. And hopefully he's successful and he can go China.
So we've got Rob and Steve here. Rob is currently over there. Steve's currently over there. Connor's on the gas axe over there. The main water tank for this flotation, the main tank for the flotation tank setup is very nearly done now. So Steve is just currently working on the runners, which conveyor? Heaviest conveyor sits there, I do believe. That's a big long stainless steel one. So that sits on some runners, goes down either side, and that locates in position. So Steve's just welding them runners in place. Rob, just over here, he is currently welding up the hatch. So there's an inspection hatch down the bottom here. So if there's any maintenance work needed inside the bottom or for checking anything once it's been drained, there's a hatch at this back here that can be opened and then you can gain access. So all of the conveyors are designed, or both the conveyors are designed so that if they need any maintenance, they can be very easily pulled out or lifted out. So they've both got lifting eyes and everything needed to maintain them as easy as possible, because obviously the tail end of both of them actually are submerged underwater somewhat. So yeah, I'll take you over this way, where Connor, as you heard earlier, is on a gas axe. So he's currently gas axing out the bucket. So he's got the floor of the bucket out and he's just trimming off the weld just to make it nice and flush. So he's got a bit of that to do, a bit of cleaning up afterwards. Yeah, looking good. Coming over here, George is working on, or has been working on, this ladder. So there are 2 of these that will be going on the dewatering screen flotation tank setup. So these will mount between the framework and the top of the tank. Yeah, pretty simple. Nice big long handles that George was bending earlier. Rungs, very easy to put in place. 2 of them, both identical. The other one is currently tacked up on George's bench over there, which is going to be welding very soon.
So this week we thought we would do a Q&A session. Adam has got some questions. So far away, Adam, what we got first?
The first one that I have is from Kevin Bohr, who wrote this comment down.
He's a regular commenter. Always look forward to his comments.
He is. And he asked, have you ever thought of going into the shredding market yourself?
Ooh. Yes, is the honest answer to that. Yes. We regularly get asked, crushers is a popular one. We regularly get asked, are we going to do crushers? And shredding is one that does raise its head occasionally. So in both applications, both crushers and shredders, there's a lot of heavy forces going involved in there. And there's 2 ways that you can design them. You can either buy the fancy software that'll work out all your stresses, and then you engineer it to overcome all them stresses. Or you probably go down the old-fashioned route, which is build it, test it, and see what breaks. Both ways are quite an expensive way of doing it. You've also got to appreciate that there's a lot of other people in those markets. There's a lot of Chinese shredders that have come onto the market in the last few years that are probably okay. I wouldn't know whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. They're probably okay, cover all sorts of different sizes, and crushers as well. There is quite a well-known Indian crusher box manufacturer that does seem to supply a lot of the OEMs that we would all recognise. So the answer is yes, I have thought about it. No, it's not something I want to do for all the things I've just listed. But I cut my teeth in the high-speed shredder market. And yes, I would love to build a high-speed shredder. So if there's somebody out there who's got £1 million burning a hole in their pocket that wants to invest in developing a high-speed shredder, hit me up. We'll go next, Adam.
Cool. Another one is also from quite a regular commenter. Gavin, did you look at scheduling software tools like Primavera Systems, P6, or even Microsoft Project to do your planning and tracking tasks?
Didn't look at them particular ones, but we did look at quite a few other ones. We had Monday, ClickUp, Connect Teams we looked at. We have used Clockify for years, and we're now paid 1,600 quid for 12 months on that because I was promised it would have a specific function on it, and actually it doesn't, so that's a bone of contention. But when you look at all of these softwares, and I'm going to take a step back now and sort of explain the process behind this. Now, bear with me on this. When you leave school, people either go down the academic route or they go down the blue-collar practical route, okay? So if you've come to work in a workshop, or you're a plumber, a bricklayer, or whatever it is, you've probably chosen that route because paperwork and the sort of clerical side of work didn't appeal to you. You wanted to do the manual side. If you went down the office route, then you don't mind filling a form out, following a process that involved ticking boxes and all that sort of stuff. You're comfortable with that sort of thing. And what we found with us trying to implement the technology into the workshop to monitor the projects, what we actually wanted to do is we wanted the guys in the workshop to go onto an app on their phone and find the task they were working on and mark off that they'd completed it, put some notes in there, put some hours in there, and actually getting the guys in the workshop to do that. And this isn't a criticism of the guys in the workshop, it's just some people, that's not what they come work for, that's not their natural environment. And you'll see over the last sort of probably 20 years, you've had people in an office environment are now telling people in a workshop environment how to do their job better. And I think there is a little bit of revolt against that. And I think that is probably the root downfall of a lot of these tech-based management softwares that work on behalf of people in a manual job. I think people are quite comfortable using their phones for using timesheets and that sort of thing. Maybe a text message, forward a picture. They're pretty cool with that. But to actually remember at certain stages of your manual job, you need to do a clerical job is not a natural process for people in a blue collar environment. And I think as business owners, we need to understand and respect that and put a system in accordingly. We've tried the tech route, did not work. And it's not like we've tried it and given up on it. It's just we've tried multiple different guises of it, did not work. And now we've gone back to a more manual, paper-based system where anybody could go and pull a piece of paper out, read it and put it back, as opposed to have to sift through hundreds of jobs on an app and find the one you're working on. So that's it for questions and answers in this episode. If you have got any questions and you would like answers, leave them in the comments and Adam will pick them up and we'll do another Q&A session in the coming weeks.
So I've come back downstairs today. No reason other than Adam's down here, so I've come down here. I've come dressed as a polar bear to work. It's National Polar Bear Day today, didn't you know? Lots of things going on, just keeping really busy, keeping some momentum on some of the orders that we're looking to secure. So we get routine orders all the time. We have long-term projects, and then we have stuff that we're working on that is not a guarantee, but we have to keep the momentum going. So my job is to make sure that all the things that need to be done, like getting some drawings over to somebody to get it across the line, are getting done. So there's been quite a bit of that this week. And we've also had a really exciting conversation with somebody about our site banks, which has not been confirmed yet, but there's a really good potential there with another customer who may be interested in taking a bunch of those in one go. So that's quite good. We'll keep you posted about that. Other things that are going on in my world. So I deal with lots of other things. So I've confirmed Ashley's probation is completed now. So he's been here for 3 months. Absolute superstar. The company that he left, their loss, our gain, 100%. He's brilliant, and so we're really happy to confirm his permanent employment with us. We keep people on probation for 3 months. Occasionally, not very often, we have to extend it. And yeah, it's really rare that we have to do that. But Ashley, flying colours, straight through. So yeah, I did that. The other things that I get involved in, Melissa does our payroll each month, so I supervise that, just double check things with her. So I've been doing that today, and then a lot of my rest of my time has been taken up with marketing. Alicia has left the company now, which we're sad about, but you know, her choice. And so I've spent a lot more time with Adam and Georgina doing marketing type stuff. So I've been doing quite a lot of that this week generally. Yeah, lots going on, really busy, really good team around me though, so it makes work easy.
Okay, so this week's fun fact, after last week's fun fact about the spork and knives and forks, Adam's found a proper fun fact this week, back on steam engines. So we go all the way back to 1805, and a man called Arthur Wolfe, who was a Cornish engineer, he worked out that if we used the steam that had been used in a steam engine, instead of exhausting it out and wasting that energy, if we used a big piston and a little piston, the energy that would otherwise be wasted could be reused into a second piston, which made steam engines a lot more efficient. So that's it for this week's fun fact. Arthur Wolfe, Cornish engineer who tweaked James Watt's earlier design of a steam engine and made it a lot more efficient by using 2 pistons, one big, one small, and using what would have been the wasted energy from one cylinder going into a second cylinder. This week's fun fact. So that's it for this week. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and we'll catch you on next week's episode. You disappeared for 2 days on holiday. How inconsiderate.
Terrible.
Can't believe you've let us down again. Shocking.
Did have a sick day.
You have a nice time away? Good. Amsterdam? Did you do anything illegal? No.
What do you consider illegal, Gav?
If you'd have done it in this country, would it have been illegal?
Oh, perhaps, yeah.
Perhaps yes.
Perhaps, yes. Probably better not get into that with my boss, though.
No? Would you fail a drugs test? You're drinking water, Adam. is this to dilute the toxins in your system?
Ready?
Rolling. Recording now? Yeah. Nice. So Connor is currently in the I have to do your job for you, Adam.